If you are really struggling to play out of the press on FC24, today we are going to walk you through how you can beat it. We are going to take a look at some examples of an 11 to 14 wins player on what they do wrong, and then show you how you can get out of the press on FC24. So taking a look at our first example, we are going to see this player look to switch the ball out to the left wing, which playing against that press, switching the play, spreading the play wide, can work super well, but it's about what do you do with it once you have then switched that play. Now, if we take a look at this screenshot here, if you take a look at the mini map, you can see the amount of black dots that are already coming into that top half of the pitch. If you drew a line between the center of the pitch and broke it into two halves, top half and bottom half, the majority of the players on the opposition's team are already in this top half of the pitch. What does that mean? Well, it means that that area is going to be congested very quickly if you don't look to move that ball on. So the player on the ball now with Robertson is kind of thinking about, okay, how do we want to go? How do we want to approach? And this is where our 11 to 14s wins player just doesn't really know how to decide when to shift that ball on and move from it. So what we have to think about here is, can we back ourselves on the left stick dribble? And that's exactly what the player does. But then they just overcomplicate it unnecessarily. Robertson picks the ball up. He outturns that one attacker. Brilliant. He's evaded that press from him. Now it's about, okay, what do I do? Do I release the ball into here? Do I go back into my centre mid and then look to switch that play wide? What do I do? I've beat this player. I now need to move it. But instead, they dribble. They get pressed. Griezmann takes that ball, and then what happens now? Well, the left back is completely caught out of position. Robertson was on the ball. The left centre back has to come over, and then you have that knock-on effect of the right centre back having to come over, and so on. And then everybody kind of moves across the pitch from that, which then gives an opportunity for the opponent to take advantage of. Everything's like a little chess piece. Playing a game of chess, you remove one piece on the board. That's the similar sort of thing of what we're doing here on the pitch. But then we take a look at this. We've won the ball. Now Varane is going to get that ball down into feet. And how do we lay ourselves out? Well, one of the things that you need to draw your attention to when you are playing against the press, which is pretty much every game on FC24, is who is the opponent controlling? Yes, the AI press is there when an opponent runs 46 depth or higher, but it's about who is the person controlling as well, because that is where they're going to have that big chance to intercept the ball. Take a look at this screenshot. Varane's picked the ball up. Where do you see the space right now on the pitch? Where are you looking? Where do you see that space? Well, the middle of the park here is so congested. You can already see the opponent's controlling this player. So for Varane, it's about going, can we take a touch and then get it out to this right wing? Look at the space on the mini-map that our player has. Where the ball has just come from is where the opponent's team is going to be. It's where it's going to be congested. So let's move it on. Let's get it out to that opposite side and let's play out from that. But instead, the 14 to 16 wins player loses it there, gets reckless in defending because they're frustrated that they've given it away, and the opponent capitalizes on it. Into our next example, the opponent gets a good chance. Oblak makes a good save. And now we're in this area. To you, does this area look like this should be a threatening scenario? And I bet you probably feel this is quite familiar for yourself when you're playing against the press, right? In this area, when you win the ball, your immediate reaction is, yeah, let's get the ball and let's pass it and let's go out. Let's get forward. I want to go and score. But what you're not thinking about is, well, what does the opponent want to do? The best time for the opponent to win the ball back is when they've just lost it. So if we're taking a look at the opponent's cursor and who he's controlling, they don't necessarily press the person on the ball here. What they do instead is they try and think about where you're going to pass it to try and intercept that pass. So what do we need to do in these sort of examples in these areas? One of the most simple things, take the touch up and out to the wing. The opponent will not expect it. They will press into here and then you can go up there. And do you know what the best thing is? Even if Dembele does sprint at you and tries to press you there, this is Robertson taking that up there. He'll be stronger than Dembele. He'll take it past him, or Dembele will get tackled and it'll go out for a goal kick anyway. But just doing something and going up, playing literally a 90-degree pass across the box here is absolutely ludicrous. It is going to give you trouble after trouble, and that's exactly what happens. Again, the 14 to 16 wins player panics a little bit. Watch the player switches here. They're already nervous. They've already given away the ball. They feel a lot of the press is so bad. So now it's like a snowball effect. You make one mistake and it keeps going and it keeps going and it keeps going. and then player switches come through, doesn't get any conviction, no second man press. Opponent strikes that one in, and a very good finish. If you are interested in any one-to-one coaching on FC24 to help your game, head on over to alexbeeofficial.com and take a look at the different packages. Moving on to our next example. Now, the 11 to 14 wins player has just conceded a goal, and giving away the ball on kickoff against the press is something that so many people do all the time, and I really need you to not do it. So he lays the ball out to the left back, ball comes out, and then we get into this area. And you're thinking, well, what can we do here? I've kind of already told you what we can do here. We can just move the ball on. Like, the opponent's pressing you here. There might be second man pressing. They're trying to cover passing lanes. What you need to do is to spread the play. Constantly look for the switch balls if you need a way out. So Robertson here is kind of going, okay, well, where do I go? I've got no one to pass into here. That lane's covered. Can't really go into this player next to me on the camera. Where do I go? I could try and drive through there or go through there, but that's risky. I could pass that back. And then I could switch that ball out with a square on PlayStation, X on Xbox. You could do L1, R1 square for the quick ball to transition, LB, RB, X on Xbox. Plenty of options. But instead, this player says, okay, I'm just going to dribble for the sake of dribbling. I'm going to get pressed. Has one more opportunity here to lay that ball back. Doesn't do it. Tries to beat through. Opponent goes in with a slide tackle. And again, Robertson out of position, and it's now chase. They need to try and get back. Opponent can then look to drive in towards the byline. Little bit of second man press and partial team press, and Rashford gets that goal. All coming from dawdling on the ball and creating our own troubles and pressure. So now we're going to take a look at some examples on how I deal with the press in the scenarios to kind of give you a bit of a counteract to see exactly how different players will deal with it. Now, opponent has the ball. He's looking to move it around, get into the 18-yard box. Works a really good chance. Tried to step in front of the lane. Centre-back doesn't get there. So now Salah has a golden opportunity. We get that tackle in. Now, what could we do here? We have kind of two options, in my opinion. Well, three, theoretically. I think number one, what players may do is they might look for a quick X pass through there. This is something that I think you think is on FC24, and it just isn't on. You get intercepted so many times because of that automatic AI press, right? So you try and go for this, and then Neymar will just get into that lane and cover it. So that's option one. Number two is we could run up towards our own goal line here. Again, the opponent won't press you to over here. They'll be pressing the next pass. Then we could look for an out ball. And then option number three, it's one of the things that I find reliable at the minute, is actually just holding square or X on Xbox and going for a little lofted ball basically into your three players. And that's why formation mastery is so crucial. I know in the 4-2-3-1, Maddison is going to be here in these sort of areas. I lay that ball out. Maddison picks it up. I trigger the runner on Rashford and say, get on your bike. Play that over the top through ball. It's a chance ball, to be honest. I don't expect to get on the end of it. I do. Walk it past. Bang. Put ourselves 1-0 up. We've just turned what could be a very, very dangerous scenario for an 11 to 14 wins player into conceding and giving away that ball when you get pressed to a goal scoring opportunity for ourselves. And another one for you. Opponent slips in a beautiful through ball past my defense. Van Dijk is there. Van Dijk doing Van Dijk things. Again, two options that we could do here. We could drive up with Van Dijk and then look to lay the ball out. Van Dijk exceptionally good at it. Anyone that's just got a good centre back, anyone that's strong, it doesn't matter if it's Neymar. He hasn't got the strength to take you off the ball here. So you could go up, or you could go for the ball, which I go for again, which is just that little square ball over the press. Now I have two options. I could go back up to here and run with Salah, but I'm a little bit isolated. I don't really have much support. Or I could lay the ball back one more. And now what am I thinking about? Remember what we said? It gets congested very quickly the longer you stay in one half of the pitch. Get the ball gone, switch it out to the opposite side. Having the lobbed pass play style on any of your centre-backs would be really helpful. Van Dijk has it, Catena has it, Diego Carlos. There's a few out there that are available. I've used Diego Carlos, Van Dijk, Catena, and those are all so helpful in those areas, which then means we can now play out and we can look to go on how we want. If you need some more help on FC24, make sure you click this video here to improve your game.